if the Pope resides in Italy, that was then called the Roman
Oh my
Empire,
God.
Roman
Italy
Christian
didn't
Church.
exist, buddy.
Okay,
Italy didn't
if you're
exist.
claiming that Peter the Galilean was the first Pope,
I
Peter the
never said that.
Galilean went to one of the 7 churches of Asia
When the
Minor.
Roman, hold on, just
to
real
Rome.
quick. When the Roman
your history.
see, just real quick, let me talk. Listen, remember what you were telling Nadim? Listen, when the Roman see of the church was established, there was no such thing as a pope. The office of the pope did not exist until 1054 during the Great Schism. There were patriarchs. There were patriarchs considered popes. What does that say? I can't
That's
read
what you
that.
believe. So that right there refutes you. What you're
No,
trying
it
to make a
doesn't.
claim.
Buddy, I'm saying the modern conception of the word pope,
according to
as in
Constantinople,
infallible.
Peter was the first pope.
Just listen, right? Okay, so again, who established the Roman see?
Just listen,
Peter,
That's
right?
what I'm trying to-
And you just said it was Paul.
Listen to what I'm trying to explain.
Paul
to you.
has nothing to do with Rome.
The Catholics say Peter was the first pope in Christianity.
Right, I understand that. I'm not a Catholic. I'm talking about
to the 7 churches of Asia Minor, which are not in Italy, which is Rome.
Right, and what churches do
So
those
he
churches belong
cannot
to?
be
Hold
a pope,
on.
according
Okay,
to that
and what
understanding.
churches do those belong to? Like the church in Antioch, the first one
Those
where they're
are
called
Greek
Christian.
schools of thought, where you find
No.
Socrates.
So that church doesn't exist anymore.
Okay,
Okay,
Socrates.
That church. No,
Plato.
hold on, guys.
Socrates.
No. Just answer the question
Yes,
directly. You're
bro.
obfuscating. So the church in Antioch described in Scripture no longer exists.
Listen, there's the 7 churches.
No, I know. Hold on, just answer.
Just answer
Does
the
it
question.
exist?
But listen, before
Does it exist?
Before they're written by Paul as 7
Does it
churches.
Just
exist?
answer a question.
Does the church in Antioch still exist?
The school of thought for
Does
that.
the church that is
No,
described in
the
Scripture
church.
that Peter and Paul were at in Antioch, does it still exist?
Yes.
And where is that?
It's
It's part of
in
the
Antioch.
Orthodox Church.
No.
I'm
The
Antiochian.
Antiochian Orthodox
No,
Church.
it's not.
Yes.
I'm
Yes, it
literally
is, dude.
in the
Yes, it
vicinity
is.
of
Where do you think Antioch is located?
Hold on.
It's in
You don't think we know where Syria is in the Middle
We
East?
have a list of where the 7 churches are in Revelation.
Can you
It's
just
okay, real
write
quick.
on Google
Real
Maps
quick.
Antakya?
So the letters
Write Antioch on
that
Google
Paul
Maps.
sent to these schools of thought, where did he send those letters to?
He wrote letters to the Galatians.
No. I'm talking
These
about.
aren't the school of thought. No school of thought would have accepted Paul's letter. No school of thought accepted Paul's letters. He wrote these letters to
No
different-
school accepted
different
Paul's letters.
religions that were Roman created.
Literally
They're not the
everyone
original.
accepted, like, ironically, the
What?
first major
You have to
one of the
understand
first major
where
heretic
the school
groups,
of
the
the- where the
Marcionites,
7 churches
they literally
originate
rejected
from.
everyone except Paul. Like, this is amazing. Like, it's
These
reverse.
were Greek.
It's
These
the
were
inverse
Greek
of
schools
Marcionism.
of
That's still
thought. You have to
Marcionism. It's
understand
amazing.
that. Because the
What are you
Greeks-
talking about?
The Greeks were waiting for
Wait,
the
guided
son
one. Are
that
you
was
high?
Hold on.
virgin.
Got it one. Real quick. So
Are you-
They're
DPH
waiting
just
for
asked
this.
you. Hold on. Just listen. DPH just asked you the Antiochian church that Paul sent his letters to. He asked, where are those? Where is that church? And you said it's a school of thought.
Well, he agreed that it wasn't a
Right.
church that
It's a
still
Greek-
exists,
it's a
but he
Greek
denies
school of
its
thought.
orthodoxy.
It's
Right,
a
so-
Greek school of thought.
Okay,
Okay, so again. So hold on. So that Greek school of thought that Paul wrote that letter to, where did he send that letter to physically?
Turkey.
No, not a country. What kind of building was it?
Tell me about this security.
Was
What do
it
you mean, a
possibly
church?
the Antiochian Orthodox
Was it a
Church?
church or was it a philosophy classroom for Greek thought?
Right.
Antakya, okay, is just north of the Syrian border in the Hatay province, okay?
Yeah.
In southern
Thanks for the
Turkey.
geography lesson, buddy.
That's
I'm talking
where
about the
the
building.
letters of Peter went to.
Listen,
Turkey.
can you write
You understand that?
Greek Antiochian Church? Can you write that on Google? Because you just write on Google. Write on Google Greek
Greeks were
Antiochian
not
Church.
in Ethiopia.
Oh, who said Ethiopia?
Who said anything about
That's what
Ethiopia?
it sounds like you're saying.
I said Antiochian.
Okay, and where's
Antiochian
Antioch at? Turkey.
No,
I
it's
told you
Syria.
where the
It's in
letter was
Syria.
sent to.
It's in
You
Syria.
don't want to accept it.
Well,
Why?
it's in the sea now. It fell into the water thanks to massive earthquakes.
Yeah,
No,
part of
it's
it
still
is.
around. It's on the Orontes River,
Okay,
man.
do you know where I'm
And it's
from?
on
mostly
Ox
underwater
today.
in the Mediterranean.
Next to
Listen,
city
listen,
to the
the guided
Mediterranean
one.
Sea.
Listen, do you know where geographically I am? I am in the land which was part of Antioch before.
He's in Lebanon.
So, and I'm an Orthodox Christian, which is weird, and we call ourselves the Antiochian Orthodox Church.
And how?
If
And
you,
what?
if you want to
was
be specific,
was Turkey? Did
listen,
Turkey become
listen,
part of Byzantine?
listen,
Yes.
No,
listen,
Turkey
listen.
is a
Yes, it did.
Turkey's after the
Listen,
fall of the
Turkey
Ottoman
fell under the
Empire.
rule of Constantinople, the emperor of the world. Therefore,
If
he should
only.
know that
If
he's
only
from the
Magic Art was
Byzantine
won.
Empire.
If only.
Fact.
I am
That's
amazed.
Greece, not Turkey.
This is
Okay,
so-
astounding.
Was Turkey created
Okay.
and overran by the Byzantine
No,
Constantinople?
No.
the geographical
No.
area of Turkey.
Literally no.
Not the
What?
Literally reverse.
Turks
He
were all
changed
there.
the city. He changed the city Istanbul into Constantinople.
It was never
It
Istanbul
was
before.
never
It was
Istanbul.
It
Byzantium.
was
No.
always called
You don't even know the name of the
Small
city. It was never
area.
Istanbul.
How do you
And
you
Byzantine
completely-
is called Byzantine because it was
the Greek
city
term for
Byzantine.
Oh my
downtown
gosh.
then
Constantinople.
created Constantinople.
Wait, how do you completely
This is a
switch
joke.
everything?
It was Byzantia. That's why it's called the Byzantine Empire, because they moved to Byzantia and named it Constantinople.
Yeah.
It was Istanbul before.
No, it wasn't.
What?
No,
What are you
Yes.
talking
It was a
about?
Greeks.
Muslim-
Greeks.
Listen,
Have you
like
ever
how
been
do you-
to
Independent
the
fundamentalist
Greeks
Baptists on
The
history.
Greeks
In
were
the
before
port.
the Turkish.
in the city.
How do you completely switch everything in history? Like completely.
He's already
Listen,
contradicted himself 3 times.
Guards asked me to take a look.
You've
Istanbul.
contradicted yourself 3
Istanbul
times in this
created
one
when?
conversation.
Here you go. You ready for this?
This is
Yeah, we're
literally
ready.
this
In the
is
year
the future the
330,
Anglo-American establishment
Istanbul,
wants.
known as
Yeah,
Byzantium,
you're right.
okay, was known as Byzantium, and then until 1453, Constantinople.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then
And then
it became
It
Istanbul.
was
And when
always,
and the
listen to me,
name
according to the Greeks, it was always known because who was the traders who traded in the city? Greeks. And they always called it Istanbul.
Yeah,
Always.
we know the Eastern Roman Empire spoke Greek. We get that. What's the point?
What are you, Eastern Roman Empire? No, Greeks were not part of the Eastern Roman Empire.
Greeks weren't part of the Eastern Roman Empire. Oh my God! What history
That's
book did you
hilarious.
read?
See, this is
he
where
didn't read a history book. He's guided. He's guided
Greeks
by
are
the
He's
water.
guided by. He's
The
guided
Christian
by.
womb.
Christians
guided by
think
the
because
feminine
somebody
part of
told
God.
you something,
Yeah,
you're
the
gonna
feminine
believe it.
Sophia in the water. That's who he's guided
He's guided by the wisdom of the womb.
This is the future. This is actually the form of Islam that I think
This is the
the
problem
American
with both
section, the
Christian
American
and
Anglo-American
Muslim.
elite
Hold on,
want
hold
to
on.
have.
Let Jose speak.
Yeah, so I was going to say this is the form of Islam that the Anglo-American elite want in America, because what they just want to de-Christianize America as much as possible, and this is the future, a form of Islam that is highly individualist, which they can, because the more broken up people are, the more control that they can, have over the population.
Yeah, the more they'll start create their own history.
All right, I'm going to show everybody this to prove that all these guys are wrong.
It's a
All
white
right,
Nobody
there
screen.
it
can
is.
see that.
They're all
Oh,
wrong.
wow, the white
So
white
the city
light.
was founded as Byzantium in the 7th century BCE by Greek settlers
Byzantium.
from Megara. Who created Byzantine? Who created it? Greeks. Again,
we
I
agree.
proved you
That's
wrong.
exactly what you said. You
That's
said it
not wrong.
wasn't.
They
And
were
who was
called
Constantine
Megara.
Greek?
Point out the
Megara
Greeks
people.
didn't call themselves
Constantine was
Greek.
born in
330
Asia.
CE, the Roman Emperor
Wait,
Constantine
I
the Great
thought
made it an
Byzantium
imperial
was
city.
called
And
Istanbul.
who was,
So the
and who
guided
was
one.
Constantine? He wasn't
So it was
Roman.
always,
He was born
always
in
known
Egypt,
by
The
like
guided
Greeks.
one. The guided one. Are you guided by the Spirit or are you guided by Google?
Say it again.
Are you guided by the Spirit or are you guided by Google?
I'm showing you. You want a history lesson. I'm giving you history.
Oh, dear.
But
But
nothing you
you
just
you
said.
just
You want
contradicted
religion. You
Need
want
your
religion.
history
I'll guide
lesson.
you with religion, with the spirit.
Listen,
You want
listen, guided
history.
one, guided
History
one.
is in books.
You said it was always called Istanbul, but you said it was founded as Byzantium, then became Constantinople, then
Right,
became Istanbul.
because the Greeks came. Listen to what I tell you. When the Greeks were trading with the city, they called it Istanbul.
It just
When
means,
a
it
group
just
of
means the city
Magara
in Greek.
moved to that place after Byzantine was conquering and there was a great schism, they had moved into
The Roman
that
Empire
land
hadn't
and
conquered that
called
area
it
yet.
Byzantium. But they are not Turkish, they were Greeks.
Of course they were. The Turks didn't come till much later. That's the Ottoman Empire, bro.
Right.
Turks are Mongols.
We know. We're
They
Orthodox.
come
What are you
from-
talking
No, you
about?
don't know.
Central
Because
Asia.
you're trying to make a
God.
claim that you're Turkish, you're Ottoman. You're not a Greek. You telling the
What?
Greek man what he called the city before you came? You didn't come till later on.
Okay, I just want to point out that the Turks didn't even call it Istanbul when they took it over. They called it Constantinople. They didn't even
Only
change the
20
name. The ones who
Exactly.
changed the name was
My
the British
point. Why?
Empire.
Why? Why did
It
they
was the
call it
British
Constantinople?
Empire.
Why?
Tell me why.
Because Constantinople was their ruler, like I've been telling you.
So the Turks
But the
ruled by
Greeks-
How is a
The
city a
Greeks
ruler?
This is just
We're not
amazing.
the
This madness.
rulers.
You're
This
saying
is
that
madness.
it was called Istanbul. Istanbul, the name that was pushed by the British. Like this is not even a point. Like what do you call it? Like like even in the turn of the 20th century up until World War I, if you were to mail a package from the United States to Istanbul or Constantinople, whatever you want to call it, you would label it as Constantinople. It wasn't until the British and the American Postal Service were like, you have to call it Istanbul for us to deliver. That,
The only
and then
reason
you have the
you
rise
call
of the Young
yourself
Turks.
Eastern Orthodox
That's
because
when
you
you
come from
started
the
calling it.
eastern
That's when
part
they
of
started
Rome.
calling it Istanbul.
The Eastern Orthodox
You're
called it
Roman.
Emperor's City,
Eastern
not even
Eastern
Constantinople.
Romans
We called
became
it Emperor's
Byzantine,
City.
became Orthodox. Fact.
Okay,
Why
are
did
we
you
part of
become
the?
But
Are we,
Orthodox?
Romans. That's
It
why
was
you
always
follow Paul.
Orthodox.
That's why you follow Paul, and you believe in all the false gospel
Well,
stories.
guess who else you
False
follow?
But you're never
stories.
going to
Mark,
understand that
Luke,
oh,
because
John.
you've been
So you
manipulated
possess
in
the
that
Matthew,
land.
Luke,
spirit
and
more
John
than
every
Paul
You've
day.
been
does.
manipulated. The guy above me just said that who wrote all this history?
Man, the Muslim saga is
Who wrote all the
crazy.
history?
There are tons of
Really
people who wrote
drawn out.
history.
Yeah.
You just
Yeah,
said
What do you want?
England.
You want
called it
Tacitus,
England.
Shelby
You
Foote?
said
I mean, who
England
do you
did,
want?
didn't they?
No,
Northern
he's talking
England?
about Istanbul. He's talking about the name
Charles
Istanbul.
Oman?
Wait, the guided one. I won't judge, but just answer honestly.
We gotta
Do you
wrap
take any
up
drugs or
the guided ones. Discussion.
are you high or something? Or?
Yeah, I think we should get back on topic. This is absurd.
Yeah.
So here's the thing to end it. No, you as Christians, fake Christians, will never get together with the fake
Oh,
Muslims.
so
because they're
you're the
both
only
fake.
one Christian.
You're the
You
only
don't
real
have
one.
the truth.
He is
If
the
you
only
don't
real
have
one.
the
He's
truth,
the only guided
there will
one
never be
in
peace.
his mind.
That's why America,
I think we need this guy.
and I live in right now, and what does it state in our Quran? The Mahdi will come from a civil war from the west, the sun that rises from the west.
Look at his
Crazy
See my
eyes,
eyes,
black
man.
banner?
It
Do you
gets
see what
really
it
It's
says?
the eyes. It's
You
pre-left
have
in the
no
eyes.
look at his eyes. Look, you know what? You make
Yeah.
accusations.
The eyes are the
Show
window
your
of the
face.
soul.
Show
What do you
your
mean?
face.
I
Show
can
your
show
face
my
so we
face.
can
Have
talk
shown my
about
face.
you.
Dark.
Look at his eyes.
dark,
He's a
you see?
high. He must be doing drugs. Look at him.
Look at
Look
No,
how
it's even worse.
ignorant you
See?
are.
This is the delusion.
Look,
This is not
he
even
doesn't
drugs.
Just in
even
the
look
dark.
like
You got
don't even
schizo
look
eyes,
like
buddy.
a Turkish friend, and you say you're Turkish. You don't even look like a Turkish
I
man.
never said I'm Turkish.
You're an immigrant. Get out of here. You're
What?
an
I'm an
immigrant to the
immigrant.
land.
He's in
Why would
Lebanon.
This
I-
is the
He's
problem
in
with
Lebanon where he's
listen, all
from.
Americans.
Lebanese.
This is the problem.
What are you talking
All
about?
these people want
Why
to
would
make
anyone
this
immigrate
race
to Lebanon?
based upon that they
Since
live in
when
the
were
land.
Muslims? Since
Just
when
like
were
the
Muslims
Jews
opposed
go
to
to Israel,
immigrants?
just like the Jews who are immigrants claim that they're Israelites, even though they're from France, America, Germany, all these different places where they were born.
I wish I was
Yet,
white.
because
I
they
wish I
live
was
in a
from France.
land
Their
and
history
they
is way
worship and
better.
practice a religion known as Jew, they want to call themselves an Israelite. I'm an Israelite. You're not.
Oh, so
And
you're
this is
you're
the
the
problem
only
with
Israelite ever.
America's
the only
diversity
Israelite.
as well. There's
He's
so
literally the
much,
only one.
so much diversity in America, you don't even know where you come from.
All right.
You-
Well,
you-
Guided One, I got one more
So
question,
you'll
and then we're gonna
you'll
part
never
ways.
unite. You'll always fight and bicker. Even your very own Christianity breaks itself apart and teaches different doctrines.
Oh my
back and forth.
gosh. Oh
Yes,
my
you do.
gosh.
Please demonstrate where in the Orthodox Church we have different doctrines.
You're,
Like,
okay.
do we have
do you-
we don't
do
have
you realize
multiple
in
theological
America,
schools like
listen,
Rome.
in America, what is the biggest religion in America?
In America, Americanism.
Yeah.
What? What? Now he calls Americanism a religion?
It is a
Basically,
religion.
It's a
Yes,
secular,
it
it's a
is.
secular
Yes.
implant for
Oh,
religion.
it's a religion now. We
Yes,
see
it's
what you're
always been
trying
a
to push
religion.
for. We see what you're trying to create then.
What's
That's what will
that?
cause
What
the
do you
civil
see?
war.
What are we trying to create?
That's what will cause a civil war. Because people don't care about your radical ideology of your religious doctrine.
Sin
Do,
causes
do,
the
do you not
war.
think
What
you're
we
the
care
radical
about-
one in the
What we
in the
care
planet?
about is the truth.
Okay.
Not your
Hey,
radical ideology
quick,
of which
I gotta-
you
You said the
is
only way you
truth.
can get the truth is through the spirit because you can't trust men.
Listen to
Okay, I
listen
can't
to what
trust
this
you,
guy
man.
says.
I can't trust you.
You're
I gotta
right,
go.
don't
My
trust you.
tablets. Hey, real quick, I gotta go. My tablet's about to die. Thanks for having me on,
Thanks
DPH.
for hopping on, Coop.
Christ is in our midst.
He is and ever shall be. God
Glory
bless.
to God.
God bless.
Look at they copy off the Catholic. They copy off the Catholic. Where you get
No,
that?
you
from?
did it
Actually,
the wrong way.
We're the
wrong way.
first ones, and we do
No,
it
you're
differently.
not
They
the
did the
first
wrong
one.
way
You're
for-
an
right
Eastern
to
The
left.
Rome.
Catholics
You became
completely
Byzantine.
do wrong. Like they go
Right
He
to
from
doesn't.
left.
He doesn't even
You're
know where the
right.
prophecy comes from.
Right to left, guided
Right.
one, right to
He
left.
d- he does-
Roman Catholic Catholicism
Try
is
it
called
again,
the
try it again, right to
Catholicism
left.
in which I was when I was adopted. I was a Roman Catholic.
Yeah,
Busted.
Oh yeah,
I'm
that's
not
why.
surprised.
you-
I'm
I'm
not
really,
surprised
I'm
at all.
genuinely not
I'm
surprised.
You're
not
Busted.
busted.
surprised
And I
at
know
all.
for a
Self-
fact that the Byzantine
self-report.
Empire broke from the Catholic
No, they
Church.
broke from us
The
to
Roman
establish the
Catholic
papacy.
Church.
I was also
They
right
wanted
there.
to
Yes, you
establish the
did.
papacy.
Yes, you did. That's a fact.
No.
And
How-
you
You
became
how
didn't
is it
deny the
fact?
Council of Virgos
Byzantine.
of 1080. You
So
denied
are we
And the
just like
Byzantine
making up
Empire
our own
of the
history on this
Orthodox
denied
stream?
the Anglo-Norman
went
Crusades.
mostly into Russia. Yeah.
That time,
It's
Christian
called
Orthodox
the
were
Greek
lived mostly in
Orthodox
Byzantine Empire,
Russian.
like empire.
That's what Russians are. Moscow is Greek Orthodox.
Only after
No,
500
It's not
years.
Greek Orthodox. It's Russian Orthodox. You dumb.
It's Russian now because it went into Russian land. It came from
Okay,
Greece.
Okay.
Greek Orthodox is what it's called. There was only
No,
one
no,
breakaway.
no.
It wasn't Greek.
No,
Western
like
Rome and
in
Eastern
9th
Rome broke
century, you
apart.
had already
It wasn't
Slavic
my
Greek.
people.
It was
Wait,
a
what did
mission
Western
sent
Rome
by
call
the
themselves? What did
Patriarch of
Western Rome call
Constantinople.
themselves?
Hey, can we give this dude a book list and like tell him to come back in a couple hours or a few days or
No,
something?
no,
I
you
mean,
just-
why don't
you're
you
just like
shut your
making
mouth?
stuff up.
No, you're making
Just
stuff
his
up, and I'm
history
here to
book.
correct you
Also,
because you're
history book.
actually you beg for money and you want people to
This
give
guy
you
is
donations.
wild.
So you're
What?
nothing but
Who's
you're a
begging
cult.
for money?
You're a cult,
How
You're a
are we a
YouTube cult.
cult?
and
We're
you
trying to,
teach false doctrine of things that are not true.
but you're
And
not
you
a
have
cult,
minions
and you're
that
not a
run their
teacher.
yappers that don't know the true history. Because why? A group of British colonialists who, in the Wars of the Roses, took away all truth from you and created what they told you was the truth.
So my ancestors
You
were
don't
not
have
affected
Did I
proper
like
history.
skip the
And why
geopolitics
did
of
they-
Islam
No,
section
no,
and come
British
right
not
for the
based
comedy at the end? Or
books.
And why
Ah,
should
no,
we
no,
believe
no,
you
no.
more than
This is
Martians?
what I'm talking
Like,
about. This is why America will have a civil war, and these are the kinds of people that will cause it.
no, America will have a civil war
Let me
because
ask you this.
Venezuela
Let me
has
ask you this.
waged a
Who are you voting
decades-long
for?
influence
Who are you voting
campaign
for?
All right, all right,
Who are
all
you
right.
to the
voting
tune of
for?
All right, guys.
Let's
$1.1
ask that.
billion
Wait. I gotta
and
ask
trained
this guy,
tens of
'cause I know
thousands of
he's gonna
activists
say it. I
to
know he's gonna say
export
it. Who
that
are you
model
voting
here.
Hold on, Andrew.
Who are
One
you
sec.
voting
All
for?
right, the guided
Who's
one.
your president?
We
Who's gonna be your
appreciate you
president? Who do you
coming
wanna
on,
vote
brother.
for?
We're gonna have to part ways now.
Who
Just
do you want to vote for? I want him to say. Who do you want to vote for?
Me?
Yeah.
I'll probably vote Trump because I mean, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Oh, so you're for
Right.
the candidate that is an open Marxist Castro-Chavist by
I
virtue of the
don't
fact
care
of
for the rich
supporting
man
the
movie.
mix of
They
Sure.
give you who they want you to vote for. It's a farce. You think
Oh,
you're
I'm
really
not putting my
voting?
trust
You
in
think
him
they're
by
going to
any
vote?
means, but
They are
I'm not
putting
going to just
whoever in power
And you
they
cede
want
the
to put in power,
situation to
man.
the obvious
You don't
evil.
vote.
all right, all right, all right. We're
That's
gonna
your
wrap
whole
it up,
trick
guys.
on you.
All right,
You think
guided
you're
one.
gonna vote
Appreciate you coming
Trump.
on, brother. Appreciate the banter. God bless you. We have very difference of opinions. I don't think either one of us are going to change our positions today, but I appreciate you coming on.
And they boot me out again because they can't handle the truth. The
No, we're
world
trying to have a
rejects the
conversation, and
truth.
it's getting ridiculous.
And all of these people,
All right.
Shut up, man.
Oh, dear.
All right. Good
That
lord.
was wild.
Okay, well
Wow.
that was some interesting.
Wow.
That's some
I
content.
couldn't
you
even
can
talk.
For the
clip
stream.
that.
I'm glad we got a Muslim
That's
hop on.
cool.
Wasn't the Muslim I was expecting. I was expecting somebody at least actually representative of
That's what
Islam.
it's going to be. That's what Islam is going to become. If I could actually share this, because I used to have Muslim neighbors here in the States, and it was fascinating. There was one older fellow I talked with a lot because he was one of the few guys who wasn't, what do you call it, totally nuts in the neighborhood I was in. And I talked to him about it. And the fact is, Islam in the United States is going to liberalize. Like it's going to go, gay, GAE, and the other as well. It's interesting how he put it, because as he put it, in the old country, the Islam that he practiced was very unique to the very specific, town that he was in, in his case, in Pakistan. And it's like everyone was on the same page. Everyone was under the same imams. They were under the same, everything. Come to the States, there is no, like his specific little sect doesn't exist here. So the mosques that they go to, they're all made up of a bunch of Muslims from all over the place. So they don't actually have much in terms of like lived tradition, for lack of a better term, in common. So what happens is the kids grow up, and the kids grow up with essentially a la carte, as he put it. It's funny, he put it, they treat Islam the same way evangelicals do, where they pick and choose what traditions they want to follow, what practices they want to do in their own lives. It becomes very individualized. And then by the third generation, the grandkids, they're totally liberal. So this is actually the future of Islam in the United States. Whereas in Europe, the United States is funding and pushing, as well as British, Wahhabism hard, Salafism hard, because the purpose of Islam in Europe is to destroy, exactly, Care Islamic. They want to, the purpose in Europe is to use Islam to destroy Europe and prevent it from being a potential powerhouse against the Anglo-American establishment. In the case of Britain, it is because they're trying to engineer in America, they want to engineer people to be less, to be even less Christian, and in sects that are even easier to control.
Right.
And what this guy is, he's the merger of independent fundamentalist Baptist, school of thought with Islam, and that is what they want to do in the United States. And this is what Islam is going to be in the West, and that's something.
Statistics coming out that show the children of immigrants in Islam are often more radical than the parents, and that does generally subside. But I would guess that in the U.S., you're going to get the hodgepodge that exists with a lot of Protestantism, where people will gravitate to the mosque that fits their lifestyle. And if they are more radical, they'll probably wind up at one of the radical Islamist mosques. And if they're a little limp-wristed, they'll wind up at one of the more liberal ones. So
and I imagine too, Islam in the West, as we already see with the Andrew Tate phenomenon and Sneeko, and Sneeko really converted after Andrew Tate, that men looking for an identity in the West with the collapse of Protestantism and Western Christianity, Islam is going to be an appealing feature to reestablish some type of traditional identity. And it's going to be missed, I believe so, as Jose said, with like this sort of sola scriptura Protestant take on the Quran, and then reincorporating it into a sort of modernistic Western ethos.
Yeah, exactly. And then
I think
they reel them into Islam, and then they radicalize them to a level that even their own beliefs are beneath what new doctrines are introduced. So, like you could see with the Sneeko this happen. I saw a clip of like maybe he was like a Muslim scholar or something telling him that a gay Muslim is regarded as more of an ally as a Christian, which is completely crazy compared to like the actual tribunal beliefs of Islam, which is against it completely. So if you come back to the roots of where the Islamic communities are in the Middle East and in the Gulf, that they would completely disagree with that. But in the West, with all the idea of liberalism, that's aligned with Islam in the West. So
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Anyways,
Sure. Let's take a look.
for
Don't
our
forget-
two guests that have joined, what are your guys' takes on whether Islam? I assume I already know your opinions. Islam, is it a friend or enemy to Christendom / the West? Is our friend? Are you Georgian?
Who, me?
Yeah,
No,
Russian?
I am George, but
Georgia. I
I'm
was
from
based
Serbia.
on the script. That's what I was picking up. I was like, that
I'm
looks
from
like Georgian
Serbia.
script. Yeah, yeah.
Serbia.
Oh, Serbia.
So,
Oh, okay.
but my name is George,
Oh, okay.
translated
Sorry.
in English.
Sorry. So, what are
So
your thoughts,
close,
brother?
so close. So I'm thinking that maybe Islam can have beneficial effect in Western Europe, and it is not direct beneficial effect, but it can have, in a sense, because today Islamic people are using Islam as a political engine, as a way. So you can see that every mosque is some kind of political center for Islam. So more and more people see that you can use religion for your political goals, and a religion can ask politicians to adhere for their beliefs. So Christian can then look at Islam. Okay, they are asking for laws to be in their accord. So we Christian can say, okay, no longer abortion because we believe in that. No longer blasphemy on the street because we believe in that. In Serbia, in the 19th century, like you could not have policemen talking bad, swearing, and so on. It would lose his job because that was against the religion. So we Christian can say, okay, separation from church and state doesn't mean that children in football fields cannot pray to win in public school. Like,
So
so
how? But
it
I'm
can
confused
help.
on how does Islam help the West?
Well, in a sense that
It doesn't sound like, based on what you said, if the mosques are political centers to implement Islamic
w-
ideology within the
no,
societies.
I'm saying that is bad, but we are Christian passive right now in the West. Christians are passive, and in Serbia too. Like in Serbia church, like Serbian church is passive towards politics. Like it avoids to get in a political field. But when church see that Islam is doing that, it will say, okay, we will no longer be passive. We will too be active. So it can activate the churches to stop spread of Islam in political field. So church can say, okay, state, if you will not stop Islam, we will get in battle too, like,
Okay,
and
so
that
the
can be
dialectic will
positive
cause an identity shift in Western Europe so that they'll try to refine their Christian root to resist
because
Islam.
right now Europe is still 70, 60, 80% Christians. So if Christian become active in politics, like it can bring big changes. But
Right.
if not, like it is bad thing overall.
Okay. I
For
want to
Europe.
get the opinions of Andrew and John. Welcome, John. Appreciate you hopping on. You or
Thank you.
Andrew want to share your perspective on Islam in the West?
Well, just
You cut out.
Yeah, I think it's his
Uh,
connection.
am I back? Yeah, I have a
Yeah.
horrible connection right
just
now
stay
with
in
the
one place.
Starlink.
Whenever you walk, it creates a bunch of noise and the connection.
But we know that there's a global coalition with the usual suspects, China, Venezuela, key involved, that are trying to end Western hegemony and create the pluripolar, multipolar world. And every major Islamist organization globally, every Islamic enemy state, Iran, Hezbollah, the Muslim Brotherhood, Hamas, they are in bed with that. When you look at like the Hamas meetings and rallies from ages ago, there's pictures on the website that Ariel's got. They have pictures of like Chavez and these communist leaders up there. So as far as individual beliefs, who knows how that'll work out. I do think that America does have that tendency to Protestantize religions and have everybody just do the pick and choose theology thing. But globally speaking, with the coalitions that like the major Islamist forces are in bed with, they want to destroy the West and completely subvert what's going on. And they obviously have a different view of things than the communists, but they've always had relationships, and then the communists think that they're going to get the better end of the deal at the end of things, and they wind up with Islamic states. So God only knows, but they're definitely an enemy of the West. The ideology, the religion's an enemy of the West. It's the antithesis to what we've got going on over here, and I don't think that there can be some sort of happy marriage unless it's completely bastardized into the like American Protestant form of itself.
All right. John, welcome, brother. What are your thoughts?
No, I think that the Christians and Muslims should not align, and I don't think they ever will align. We've already seen that in the government. Like I heard your opening statement earlier. I was at work and I had to shut it off, and I just got back home from work.
Okay.
But I 100% agree with all of your stuff. But I hope I don't derail this, but I have been recently hanging around the, I guess, orthosphere.
Yeah.
And I actually just today ordered a study Bible.
Oh, glory to God, brother.
Yeah, I mean, as Nadim already knows, I'm a Calvinist, and
glad to see you again, honey. I hope you're doing better.
But I don't know, like, where should I go from here? And I went to my first liturgy, not liturgy.
Yeah, liturgy.
I got your costume.
A couple of weekends ago.
Some other goodies you might like.
But what do I do now?
Well, you just keep learning and growing and keep going to the parish. I would say one of the biggest differences if you're coming from Calvinism is that Orthodoxy isn't a singletary moment where you convert to the faith. We don't do altar calls, as I'm sure you're aware. So it's a process.
Yeah, we don't do altar calls either.
Okay. So it's a process. And learning more about church history, learning more about the saints, going and talking with your priest, being part of the parish. I think all these are good things that are going to move you in the right direction. If you're a bit of a heady person, I know a lot of people in the orthosphere, we kind of like philosophy and intricate nuances amongst theology. You can ingratiate yourself with some of that stuff, especially if you're coming from a Calvinist point of view. I think maybe highlighting, maybe you've already done this, the big distinctions between, like the tulip of Calvinism and Orthodoxy, and where are the differences? And then you can kind of identify what you're going to be struggling with, where you're coming from. But I would recommend reading scripture, the study Bible, and it's going to have a lot of footnotes that are going to recontextualize things that you're already familiar with in regards to the Orthodox phronema and how we interpret that. That's going to be really insightful. But I would say it's a process, it's a journey. And if you just started, you just went to your first liturgy, you're getting an Orthodox study Bible, I would say just keep staying with it. And more things will make sense and more dots will connect. And I believe truly that the Holy Spirit will lead you to the church.
Okay, because
And if you're a cerebral guy, if I could put in my 2 cents as far as the divine liturgy goes, there's a great book by Nicholas Cabasilas, Commentary on the Divine Liturgy, that gets into the nitty-gritty of the worship. So if you got any questions or wonder about, like, you're attending the liturgy, what's this about? What's the deal? I'd highly recommend that book, Cabasilla.
I'll send it to you, John. I'll send it to you.
And are you familiar with the book Rock and Sand by Father Josiah Trenum?
No, not really.
I would highly recommend that book. That book deals specifically with Protestantism and looking at some of the crucial differences. And Father Josiah Trenum was a Protestant who converted to the faith. And so he's a prominent Orthodox priest. And that book, that should be pretty useful and insightful for somebody coming from a Calvinist Protestant perspective.
What book was that again? Sorry.
Rock and Sand.
Rock and Sand. Okay. I just got to write that down. Otherwise I'll forget.
Yeah, I got it pulled up as a comment right here underneath your video. So Rock and Sand by Father Josiah Trenum.
Oh, okay. All right, cool.
Yep. Grid One Motorsports, welcome, brother.
Welcome. How are you?
Good, good. We're kind of wrapping up. We're already 2.5 hours in, but if you have a comment about the open panel topic.
Siege told me to drop by earlier, and I was tied up. I was busy. I was listening. I was in the middle of some things. I couldn't get on, but I wanted before you ended. I didn't want to not pop up and at least say hi. How you doing? Enjoyed the show tonight. A lot of good points made.
Did you happen to see the guided one? Did you catch that? the American Muslim that has no imam, no mosque, but is guided by the spirit, which none of us have.
Fortunately, I missed most of that. I appreciate you for reminding me to go back and look at it. It's an interesting thing that I think that a lot of people with a lot of discontent seem to turn to Islam over Christianity for some reason. I'm not really sure why. And I don't want to go down that rabbit hole too far because, I don't know what makes them discontent. I don't know what makes them feel the way they feel, but it's, I personally can't come to terms with what Islam teaches. Really.
That's all of them. Fat fees, mud-butts.
And that's kind of where I draw the line. Just on a basic level, right? Like without diving into all of philosophy and tenets and things of this nature. I just don't. For me, it doesn't fit. I'm shocked that for so many people that it does in fact fit. So
I think one of the reasons why they move away from Christianity or they just don't
my caller and companion.
want to abide to
and
it
no,
is
robotic
because
hellspawn
they see
were,
the weak
but not
pattern
Fat Fahey's.
of
For he himself presented
aren't
the facts. Someone
fully,
else is actually
behind
the master of it all.
the
You're
idea
right.
of truth.
But
and
who?
this
Dearest mistress of mysteries,
blame
you and I have battled Boston's rogues gallery for
I
years.
believe that the problem is that enlightenment ideas are connected with Christianity.
But
So
which
they
criminal
believe
culprit
rejecting
has the
Christianity is
technological
rejecting
know-how
enlightenment.
to construct
And
such
it is not
clockwork
actually
calamities?
returning
I
to
don't.
orthodoxy, it is rejecting enlightenment or not going for Islam. But they cannot connect that. Like,
I think that part of it is that they feel culture is inauthentic and they want something authentic, and the more exotic and not related to what's going on here something is, the more attractive it is, because the further you get from the culture that you're grounded in, the more you feel like you've actually done something about your freaking dissonance and whatnot. But just my speculation.
My personal theory, and it's only a theory, and I'm probably really wrong, but to me it seems like a lot of people become disillusioned because Christianity for so long has been a very strong religion, and strong men were part of it, and it had an air of strength to it, and with the in my church at least, there's an air of feminism.
Silver Shroud.
Culture
I sense
that has creeped in to the fact that
Shall
I think
I?
most men don't feel very comfortable in Christian churches. They feel more comfortable in Islamic temples, and therefore that's where they find the strength that they're looking for. And they're actually not really paying that much attention to the actual teachings and the layers of the onion. They only see the 5 things that they tell you up front, and that is, be a man and be strong and be this. And that's enough for so many people. Most people do not feel back onions.
Which is a huge problem. They can promise them a bride. I was going to add to your point, because Grid One, you're actually making a point that multiple academic volumes have been written.
That will spoil all the fun. You gotta see for yourself.
Charismatic dimension of current American Protestantism, and that the emotionalism is very feminine, and most men are moving away from that. And one source that they used for a study was like the African American community, which has typically had a very high church
friend of the show
amongst
Jerry
both men and women,
here.
and they're Protestant.
Is this thing on?
And within the last especially the last 20 years
Hello?
or so, men are
It's on.
dropping out of attendance with even black churches. And I think it's exactly what you're talking
We're
about.
recording
It's
in
becoming
here.
more emotive, and it's less hierarchical,
Aw,
less
man.
about duties, like putting responsibilities on men and expectations. It kind of pushes away sin, sexual sin, immorality. We now have lesbian pastors all over the place.
The Silver Shrouds dispatched
BLM
justice
flags.
already.
And
Miss
so
Selmy
I
has
think
been
you
avenged.
nailed it, and this is why
Shit,
the
the
Andrew
Shroud
Tate
off
phenomenon
Wayne?
that led to so many
Wait, so
Western
this guy's
men
actually for
converting to
real?
Islam is because
Oh,
of the
you better believe it.
masculinity associated with it, as opposed to
So,
the
Jerry,
feminist,
go on.
consumerist
Tell the listeners about what
mentality
we're
of much
talking
of
about.
Protestantism.
Right.
And that's
So,
why I
AJ,
think I personally
you know the
believe
chem dealer by
orthodoxy
Bobby's.
is the resolution
He's
for
doing
that, because
good
you
for
get the
himself.
historical faith.
Says he's got
and
a
you get an
whole new
explicit
market.
patriarchy.
Kids. Even with his
we,
garbage
you know,
chems,
you're not
he's
going to
just
find a
raking in
female
the caps.
pastor. We're not with LGBTQ stuff, and it's sort of the last refuge. It was the Catholic Church too, but I mean, we've all seen where that's going under Pope Frank, and not a good direction. And so they're becoming more feminine
You
as
hear that?
well. They're condoning
Sounds
more
like the
sin.
Silver
They're
Shroud has another
watering
bad
down the
guy to
faith.
deal with.
And so I think young men just
why?
want something.
This Shroud guy,
like a
he's gonna
duty,
muscle in
something
on
to
the
be
chem
held
trade
towards.
now?
And I think
No,
Islam
he's
in
gonna
an
do something
idealized
about
world
it.
sort of offers
AJ's
that
selling the
adventure
kids.
of masculinity.
And his chems have
And
killed people.
because of the lack of understanding, they
And?
don't know where else you would find
I
that
don't
in
get it.
Christianity. I think most Westerners just know Protestant or
can't let AJ kill
non-denominationalism, and
kids.
then the Roman Catholic Church. And if you
Whatever.
don't want either one of those, where are you going to go? I guess Islam.
I mean, in 19th century, you had the Enlighteners supporting the women-only Bible reading clubs. And from that women-only Bible reading clubs, you had the women Bibles and all that stuff that women pastors and so on. So, Enlightenment ideas are what church became today, because they were steering in that direction. I was reading about that history in the I was writing.
Reminds me of our adventure against the
Women Bible and that. So Enlightenment still have effect on us, and it is supporting women pastors and so on.
Indeed,
That is
stalwart
what
Shroud.
young men
But
are.
that
They are
malformed
exactly
murderer
like
was
it.
but a muppet compared to the
I
malignancy
think
of
that's
the
a
mechanist.
symptom. I don't know that that's the cause. I think the root cause is a watering down of the message. You hear it now in a lot of places where it's, you know, the truth with love, you know, and they're equating love with softness and kindness and gentility, whereas love's never actually meant that, except in fairy tales. And so when we talk about these things as men, we're talking about, or even as most women used to talk about these things, it had a hard edge to it, right? Like there were life and death components to this. And I still to this day, so I'm a Southern Baptist, and I still to this day
Our
refer to
newfound
sermons
friend, the
where
head
the
of the bodiless
pastor
bot,
literally tells you,
and it was
if you
seen
do
he's
not
biting
do this,
through our
you are
findings.
going to hell. I still tell people that all the time. I don't care what you do. You can be as degenerate as you like, but you're going to hell. And that's the message that needs to go out there. Not that, oh, it's love and peace and kindness and flowers. And this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. And men automatically reject it. Even the weakest of men will reject it.
Right. And you're pointing to the fact that if there is a legitimate judgment of wrong and right, sin, well, that does have a hard edge. And the idea that they're going to soften all the edges,
The Silver
and that
Shroud's
everybody
bringing
makes it
justice
to
to
heaven,
good
and
neighbor.
everybody's beautiful,
Bad guys
and that
better
if
look
Jesus
out.
was here, he would be
And
with
now,
the
special
LGBTQ
update.
community.
The villainous
It's like,
assassin
when
Kendra
Jesus
was recently
was
spotted
around
at the
the
third
harlots and
rail.
tax collectors, he
The
told
same
them
Kendra
to
who bombed
repent.
little Joe
They
Shack
had to
and killed
stop doing
4
what
innocent
they're doing, but
drifters.
that was out of love.
If you want to
of
see the
offering
Silver
his
Shroud in
eternal
action,
salvation
stay
and
near
wait
Whitechapel
for it.
Charlie.
So,
The Shroud's
I
sure
agree
to
with you
interrogate him
that
to find the evildoer's whereabouts.
softening of the message is part of the problem, in that men need direction. And if there is, hey, don't do this because this will happen, consequences based on Christian actions, well, now they have a direction. They have something to move towards. There's boundaries to the game. And I think men want boundaries.
Sorry to shift the
Before we talk about
drinks.
masculinity, I think it's certainly building the boundaries, and that men then we punish men that violate various boundaries. This is just the unwritten
blocking
social
my
code
light,
when
man.
men are
Charlie.
men.
Might wait for paying
Well,
customers.
and again, if you were to ostracize
Well,
someone, if you were to learn,
Looks like
for
I won't
example,
answer. It's
that
not
a
alcohol.
friend of yours
No one
had
learned you your
cheated on
P's
his
and
wife,
Q's. Henry is not
cheated
one
on his
to be tried
taxes,
for a
had
wish.
stolen from his neighbor.
You're set on meeting.
If you were to say, you know what, I just don't even want to be around
Can you
you.
spare a few details on her at least?
You've got to go.
On the house.
You can't be
You've got to have
involved in my life.
finesse to be an
In
assassin.
today's world, you are wrong, and he is right because he is
Listen,
just
mate,
doing
combat
what
scan
he feels
shows
he
you
needs
know
to
what
do to
you're
survive, and you are judging him, which you
I'm not
absolutely
hiring.
shouldn't. And
Going
you
to
are
kill
being a
her.
bad person, where he is just doing the
Sarcasm
best he can.
sometimes
And this is
buttons
living
up
his
me
truth.
processes.
So following
Living
your
your
passions,
truth. Thank you.
You've
Yes.
got a flat just south of good name. Water Street apartment. Yeah, for the blighters she's got with her. Nasty piece of
We
business.
have to reject that strongly, right? Like, there's a moral code, and if you're
Hey,
being
Charlie.
more than I
Paying
reject,
customers up.
and I do this all the time on my show, right? Like, I do not
Cash up
have
front.
people who act in
No
bad faith. I
tax.
literally cut them out. Like, I don't even interact with them at all anymore. Like, they're gone. They no longer exist. If you come up, if you are dishonest, if you try and trick people, if you do things in a bad way, why do I want to encourage you? Why do I want to give you the benefit of being associated with me?
What? The Mayor
And I
Murphy
cut people out all here.
What's he
And we
doing
need
up
to
here? Up in Scully Square.
there's a line there in regards to offering repentance, but I also think that we need to bring back social standards and boundaries amongst men as a community. There are none in America, right? So, as your point,
Another
if I had a
special
friend
update.
and he was cheating on
No,
his wife,
it wasn't
I
Bobby
would
No
make that
Nose who offed
apparent that
AJ in
you
his school.
can't do
It was the Silver Shroud. See his calling card if you don't believe me. Now's our time, listeners. Justice is coming to good neighbor. You'll see.
Galaxy News Radio.
About Islam. In Islam, it is a sin to basically reveal someone else's secret sin. And slander doesn't mean to speak falsely of somebody. It basically means to expose them, even if it's something that's being done wrong, that's known, etc. If you publicly humiliate them and otherwise nobody would have known about the sin. So it's kind of weird that, like, sort of in that way it comes full circle, because we're talking about the possibility of excluding people and laying down the law because they're doing things that only you know about. But in Islam, that wouldn't be the thing to do at all. In fact, it's considered wrong and slanderous to do the opposite. Just wanted to point out that weird contradiction that exists.
right. Well, they have a totally different understanding of sin and repentance from sin.
I mean, but in Orthodox you have private confession, so not every sin should be like revealed. If should be, then we would have public confession, and so
No, but
it
he
depends
means
on
about
the
public
sin.
sin.
I would say.
If you're publicly
Chances
sinning,
are
Yeah,
and someone
whether
calls
Let's see what you
out
got.
for it,
Remember, no returns,
it's
exchanges, or
there's nothing wrong
delays.
about it. That's it's not a sin to call out someone to his sin. You know.
Yeah, George, I get your point in regards to maybe I'm misunderstanding it. In regards to when you go to confession, you don't tell the priest every little thing that you did that you perceive to be a sin, but you do confess all perceived, substantial sins that we do.
No,
I
I'm
think
saying that. No, I'm saying that priest is not then going to other people and telling other people he did that, he did that. No, you are privately confessing
yeah.
to your priest. So
Yeah, but I was making the point about the difference of repentance in a Christian circumstance than Islam. The way that you're redeemed is a little bit different.
Oh, but me, I think it goes both ways. So the sins that you confess to a priest are then how do you say they're then
Private
forgiven. But
confession comes from public confession because you can't,
yeah,
based on numbers, you can't do a public confession. So even if you were to confess every minor sin, that doesn't mean that we would go back to public confessions. Public confession was as the church grew, the priest had to stand in for the laity, for the parish, to hear the priest or to hear the confessions in front of Christ, an icon.
I have a question about confession. Like what do you confess? Like, I mean, I've never been to I've never been to a confession before. I mean, I've read stuff about it and everything like that, and especially like I've read You're a Heretic, Martin Luther. He used to spend hours in the confession booth confessing every sin. Like, is that?
Well, he also took a vow of celibacy and then married a nun.
I mean, we
but-
Orthodox would say that is between your priest and yourself. Like,
yeah, so
what you
typically the way the
confess in-
confession works, regarding George's point, is you build a relationship with your priest. There's expectations in regards to your Orthodox life, and then we all have temptations. So could be lust, could be impatience, could be, arguments with people or saying harsh words, could be cursing, whatever. Again, and it depends on where you are in your journey, but your priest should know who you are, and they're going to know what your weaknesses are, and you confess. So like with lust, if you're masturbating, watching pornography, you tell your priest. And it's embarrassing when you tell your priest that, and then you go back a few weeks later and you tell him the same sin and the same sin. It's embarrassing. It's a real catalyst to stop doing it.
Yeah. And the thing out, it's extremely personal. Like the confession in Orthodoxy, it's tied to spiritual fatherhood in many ways. But there is, that relationship in a way that just didn't exist in the West. So you mentioned Luther about how he would spend hours in the confessional. That was a norm because you couldn't post-schism. You had an innovation in the West in terms of practice. I mean, they took the cup away from the laity, for example. But then you had the point where like you had to confess like every single little thing, and so it was the norm to confess for hours prior to communing in Roman Catholic practice at the time
Daisy.
of Martin Luther.
Oh, you're back.
So that's
Can't get it.
Sure. Let's take a look.
He's never
All
had
the
something like
supplies,
that.
money, or
Right.
violence
Like the
can buy.
longest I could think of is like if you look at old ritualist practice, it's like confession would be like an hour. But yeah, you would not have like hours and hours the way that you saw in the West between the 13th and 16th century. And just as a historical question, John, I was just wondering if you were related to Manuel Mondragon. It was just a personal question.
Manuel Mondragon.
The general, the one who developed the first mass-produced semi-automatic rifle that was battle-tested.
Oh no.
Okay.
No.
I was just
Wait.
You should have just claimed it. That would have been a good one to claim.
Well, I can't lie.
No, I know.
Although he was
I've got to go. I've got to go get my show started and all of that. I did want to address one thing in the chat. Russell Wells, I'm not Jesus, and I'm free to turn my back on whoever I like, especially people on the internet who are toxic. So I don't know what to tell you, man. I do it all the time, and I don't see any problem with it. I would rather not have those people in my life than to expose myself to them, and maybe they'll learn from their evil ways. I'm not their priest, or their pastor. So I don't know what to tell you, man. I am an imperfect human. I'm a flawed and fallen Christian, and I do the best I can every day. Guys, I hate to shout and run, but I have to go start my show.
All good, brother. Hey, God bless.
Good to see you. Good.
Broken.
Take it easy, great one. God bless. All right, well, let's catch up on some super chats real quick, and we'll wrap everything up. While we were going there, a handful of people sent some stuff in. Sincere Hypocrite throws in $5, says Al Martin, Salah Luther giving us Sola Quran. Laugh my ass off. This has to be a joke.
Ooh, enjoying yourself.
It
in
felt
good
like it.
neighbor?
At first, I
It's a
couldn't tell if
heck
he
of a
was trolling or not, but how serious he got about his worldview, I don't think that was a troll. I think he really believes himself to be the guided one. And AC threw in $5 and said, "Yep, Orthodox Church is a hierarchy of the order of Melchizedek. Absolutely, that's the priesthood. According to the guided one, he is the last one, the current one of." AC said, "Ask him if it's all corrupted, what his source is." I tried to ask him, but he would not answer directly any questions.
He would have said the spirit.
Yeah, it just comes down to the spirit, because all men are corrupted, but we have to trust him for some reason. And then AC threw another $5. Thank you so much, AC, for the generous support today. He said, "Evangelical Hebrew Israelite prattle, individuals who cannot be accepted united." Yeah. And then Sincere Hypocrite threw in $5 and said, "Let me tell you about Hoogle Beaver, Star Seeds, and how Islam will save the West. You got to listen to me, okay?" That's basically it. He said he's definitely not a promoter of New Age, but I've heard some New Age ideas in there for sure. And then Siege D, shout out to Siege D. God bless you, brother. Thanks for letting Grid One know about the stream. He threw in $5 and said, "Hey, this Charles Manson guy was on VO Pod after the Tariq and Machine Lies Islam versus Christianity debate. Went by Muslims call me Al Mahdi." Oh, so he thinks he's the Mahdi. I didn't
Yeah, I
put
thought.
that
Yeah, that's what I
together.
told him.
Yeah, yeah.
So
In
you're the
one moment, but
So Mahdi.
Mahdi from
Yeah,
well,
it's
it
a
is
dude like
13
that.
Imam in Islam.
Like
Yeah,
the,
it's
he's
the
like
last
the
one.
Christ of
The
Islam.
Mahdi unites all the Ummah, which is the body of Islam around the world, which is divided multiple ways. And the Mahdi is going to unite Islam and lead to the global militaristic battle against evil, which anybody who is in opposition to the Quran is deemed an infidel, and that is their eschatology. That leads to the apocalypse, is this global battle that's going to happen versus the Ummah and non-Muslims. And apparently he's the Mahdi. And then during the midst of that battle, Jesus comes to condemn the Christians for worshiping him. That's really
But we're the
Islamic
radical.
eschatology.
But we're the radical ones, not him.
Yeah.
Oh, and John, you sent in $10. Thank you very much, brother, for the support. He said, "Ask Nadim if he speaks Lebanese."
Yeah, that's an inside joke.
Oh, okay. Okay, I didn't realize. I was gonna ask. I assumed Nadim definitely speaks Lebanese, but I wasn't aware.
Oh, he does. He does.
Sincere Hypocrite threw in another $5. Thank you so much, Sincere Hypocrite, for your support today. He said, "Jokes aside, this is the type of change I have noticed among humanist groups. Holding consistent theology leads to mental breakdown and delusion." Yeah, I definitely agree with that. He didn't seem well. But hey, God bless him. Hopefully he comes to the
On the
Orthodox
upside,
Church.
that's
And then shout out to Andrew. Andrew's actually a fellow parishioner. I know him. God bless you, brother. Thank you so much for the support. Wishing you and the family well. I'm sure you're working today with the family. He throws in for $5, kicking myself for not putting a super chat earlier to ask him about Yakub.
I know about Yakub, man.
Yakub created white people.
Right.
He created us. Yeah.
Interesting.
He had
And
two
then-
brains.
And then LTW Baby became a Total Crew member. Thank you so much for supporting the stream and becoming a member. Really appreciate that. Over on Streamlabs, shout out to BMX1966 for a $10 super chat, no comment. Thank you very much, BMX1966. And Snagglebeast throws in $5, says, "Hey, DPH, fellow Hoosier here." Shout out to a fellow Hoosier. "My 2 cents. Islam is a religion founded by, predicated on, and maintained with deception." Absolutely true. There is no good reason to ally, quote unquote, with them in any sense. Ignorance is the only way to believe the whole crock. Yeah, I do agree. I'm no Islamic expert. I would defer to Shamoon for any debate or apologetic critique of Islam. But from every contradictory and incoherent worldview that when you look at, just watch the debates of recent, they will not address specifically any of these contradictions within their worldview. And it's kind of
Look, the Quran says that Allah's the greatest deceiver, and Abu Bakr himself was told by Muhammad that he was promised salvation, but even he doubted it. So you can't really be sure of anything.
Muhammad thought he was possessed by a demon.
Right. Oh
yeah,
my
when
gosh,
he was first getting his revelations.
Another.
I mean, Muhammad said even if I step one foot in the Jannah, I would still not believe that I am in Jannah. Like, it is so much deceiving in Islam. That we
Yeah, he
also
thought that if you don't put your right foot first.
Hello.
All right, that cut out.
All
Read the
right.
super chat.
So Nadeem, you just got cut off. I'm not sure what's going on your end. I do want to give a special thank you to LTWT Baby. Very generous super chat. Throws in $100. Says blessing to Kodal and everyone on. I had to log off because the guest was a bit much. Totally understandable. As a former Salafi Muslim, I'd be happy to share something about the world I left. Yeah, well, we would. Again, we're getting ready to hop off right now, but I'm sure we'll do more open panels in the future. Would love for you to hop on and share some more nuanced, detailed insight in regards to the Islamic world that you left. Would greatly appreciate that. And thank you so much for the generous super chat. I really do appreciate that. God bless. And then over on the Dono chat, CJ threw in $10, says, if America is going to become wholly under orthodoxy, there needs to be a radical visionary change in baptism. Many are coming over to orthodoxy. That's the Holy Spirit. Why delay under 1 year to 3-year catechism? Well, because the Orthodox Church, we don't, historically, it was a 3-year catechism. That was the way of the early church. So the idea that if America is going to become Orthodox, we have to expedite the catechism process, that's just not an Orthodox perspective whatsoever.
It's a
we
way
want to have the people that are educated in the faith, know what they're getting into, and are ready for the spiritual battle that's going to take place once they're brought in, and not just a numbers game. So Orthodoxy is playing a quality over quantity game. Jose, did you have something you want to say, brother?
Yes, because this relates to my own experience in coming to the church. So it's a way of life, and it takes time to learn. And there's a lot of things that need, especially for your average American Protestant and also Roman Catholic, there's just things that have to be unlearned. And in my own experience, like I was brought in after 2.5 years, and my spiritual father actually told me, because I was brought, my spiritual father actually told me that I was brought in too quick. So it's not something that's supposed to be. You do not want to rush it.
Can't let AJ kill kids.
Absolutely. Well, and most of the people that do rush it, they end up leaving once the spiritual battle, starts. So, we've had a couple Protestants come into our church, and the spiritual battle that everybody says, welcome to the arena when you're brought in. They didn't take it as serious. And of course, once they get brought in, all these strange negative things begin to occur in their life, and unfortunately for a few of them, that's led them to leave the church. And it's like, we try to tell them, we try to warn them, hey, this is a real thing. For some people it's glorious, for some people it is a beautiful experience, and grace follows them for months after converting to Orthodoxy. My perspective, based on dealing with younger men specifically, is that it's more challenging. Weird things occur that are going to push against and try to resist your conversion. And I think that's just because the evil one, the last thing he wants is for a large swath of young men to become Orthodox and sincere and devout in their faith. But anybody have a comment on that?
Well, if it is in country that is already Orthodox, then having pastor catechizing is okay, but in America,
right, you guys kind of swim in it.
Like we are living in it, so it is no problem for like 2-3 months catechizing. But in America, where you are not living in it, where there is a lot of Protestant churches where you can go, here you cannot go in Protestant church because there is not much, like maybe 1 in 1,000 miles. But in America, you have in every corner, so it is much more temptation in West, so you need more time to get used to it than in the.
Yeah, I definitely. The West definitely needs catechism. Go ahead.
But yeah, no, I agree. Like, and as a Protestant, looking at Protestant churches, where I live, there's not a church where I would go to. And even if I go to the next city or the next town, there's not a church I would go to. I mean, my dad's a pastor, and he's not a pastor anymore. He's a deacon, and but that was the only church where I would actually only find fruit from. And that's not just because it was my dad, but he's a strong theologian. So, but yeah, that's just my experience with him.
I would. Oh, sorry. You can just continue, John. Sorry.
You're good. No, you're good. I was done.
Okay, I agree with George because I have some experience in our parish in London, which is like mostly like half like ethnic people from Antioch and half like converts. There's two brothers that were actually that are Lebanese that were actually Shia Muslims, and their catechism was way easier and faster for them, even though they weren't even Christian, you know, than the people that came from Protestantism, because there's still this idea of like intercession and the culture is close here in Lebanon, so I agree completely with George as like it depends
When you say
on
fast, how fast was their catechism? I'm curious.
I think it was a year maybe or 6 months for one of the brothers, and the one took a year, but the other converts it took maybe 2 years, maybe a year and a half for most of the other Protestant
Right.
converts.
Well, I know Father Josiah Trenum, who I would say is probably one of the more exemplary figures in regards to dealing with modern happenings and preserving the Orthodox faith. His church, you have to at least be a catechumen for a full year, and so he brings people in at the same time every year because they have such a large catechism class, and that's on Holy Saturday. And so if you join the church or become a catechumen after Pascha, you have to not wait for the next Pascha, but the one after that. So usually it'd be like a
Oh,
year
Lord
and a
have
half.
mercy.
Pascha's
Yeah,
Easter,
he's
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm learning.
There you go.
It-
Hey,
it
hey,
means-
it's a process. It's a journey, right? It's a journey.
It means Passover in Aramaic.
Yes.
Right.
All right. Well, I have to go.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Go
I
ahead.
have to go. My girl and I were gonna go grab some dinner here in a bit. I still got a shower. I just got off work.
Sure.
But
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for the support, John. Thanks for hopping on, brother.
yeah, and
It was nice seeing you, John.
yeah, well, all I see is nothing as usual, Nadim. But yes, it was nice.
All right. Well, God bless, John. Take it easy, man.
God bless you
But
too.
I
Thank you guys so much.
All right. Major thank you goes to Pim Orsos for gifting 5 Codal Crew memberships. Thank you so much, Pim, for your support. Welcome, Bruce Roberts, Miss Apostate, Bang Bang Lulu, Harmsky, and Cycle 321 for becoming Codal Crew members. Really appreciate your support, Pim. Thank you so much, brother. Really appreciate that. So, guys, that's going to do the stream. Again, I want to give a special thank you again to our former Muslim brother who gifted a very generous super chat, LTWT Bebe. Thank you very much, brother. And thank you, AC, for the generous support today. Gentlemen, is there any final comments you want to make before hopping off here?
Well, I would like to share some strange interaction with Orthodox country that have a Muslim population in them. Muslims will believe in miracles that happen on Orthodox relics and will still stay Muslims. They will experience healing of the blind. They will experience a lot of miracles, and they will still stay Muslim. I know one of 2 Muslims that have experience of healing of the blind, and they still stayed Muslims. So it is really strange interaction.
It's interesting because most of the Muslims here in Lebanon believe in some of our saints, because they go to their relics or rooms or whatever, and they do pilgrimages there with their Muslim attire. They take their children, and some of them get healed, and then they go on TV and say that that's God, but they it's crazy.
Well, I read
the level of ecumenism is.
Nadim, curious if you've seen this. I've read articles about Muslims going to Orthodox priests for exorcisms. That is a fairly common occurrence in the Middle East.
It is.
Yeah. Yes, the level of ecumenism is too high here, that even Muslims would.
It's not ecumenism in this case. It's literally like Muslims who are desperate for healing or desperate for refuge from false spirit.
Yes, but the thing is,
hold on, Nadim, let him finish, brother. You're doing what the other guy did. Let Jose finish.
Oh, sorry. Because I don't hear. I didn't hear him talk. Sorry,
okay.
I thought so.
All right,
sorry.
so their imams can't help them. Like their faith literally can't help them, and so they run to the Orthodox saints. They venerate many Orthodox saints and relics, etc. The fact is, it's partially because of that. Like prior to the nation state of Israel, the relics which were under control of the Muslims, they allowed the Christians to maintain them, protect them, etc., venerate them. And the Muslims themselves would venerate them, like the relics of Samuel, the prophet Samuel, for example. It's a very common thing throughout the Islamic world, and they recognize the power. Like even like my own experience of interacting with Muslims who lived in Austin, Texas. They expect white-looking Hispanic dude to be Christian, but when they hear like you're Orthodox, and I still remember that one neighbor I mentioned who talked about how he sees Islam in America going completely and totally liberal. In his perspective, when he found out I was Orthodox, he's like, "Oh, you're like an actual Christian." So it's a really strange thing that I have seen in myself with Muslims, where they're like, "Yeah, they recognize that our saints can do miracles and stuff." And this is also another point too. God is merciful, so like, and his saints are merciful too, and they will show mercy to these Muslims. And that's why there are, like, I've even heard like Russians who get confused where it's like, wait a minute, like Muslims will actually venerate our relics and even get, like, even some who've been healed will even venerate an icon of a saint who healed them. And a Protestant will not do that. And that's why it's like, again, this is why if you want to get a glimpse into why is it a pattern that I've seen repeatedly, why is it that many Russians I know see Islam as a form of Protestantism in a sense, it's because of that.
Right.
That is one of the factors in terms of like actual prayer life. You have Muslims who recognize the intercession of the saints, who do the Marian prayers, even though they reject the reason why we do Marian veneration, which is really strange. And it reminds me of the parable where you have the two sons, where one is asked by the father to do a thing, he says no, so he asks the other son, who says yes. But the first son who said no did the thing, and the one who said yes didn't do it. And I see that with Protestantism and a lot of Islam, where it's like Protestantism keeps the reason why the Theotokos should be venerated, and Islam rejects the reason why she should be venerated. But there are many Muslims who venerate the Theotokos, but you don't have that with Protestants outside of some like high church Lutheran and Calvinists. So it's just, to me, it's just a weird, crazy thing that I just see that parallel with. I'm not trying to make it. I just see that it's a crazy incongruence that I've seen.
Yeah.
And I guess the last part of the final statement I would say in Islam, it is an engineered religion.
Yes.
That was engineered for the purpose of an empire.
Yes.
And I know Father Deacon Ananias and Jadar both have been really confused. Like, why is it that it's so low IQ? The interaction they're getting with Muslims. The thing you got to take into account. So I tried to get deep into Islamic stuff for because of my neighbors, etc. But they're all from different sects, and they can believe completely differently contradictory things. And I just threw my hands up, and I'm like, I don't have time for this. But I do know a lot of the history. And the thing about Islam is half the Islamic world is inbred. One of the consequences of polygamy is you get genetic bottlenecks, and you get immense amounts of inbreeding. Like, I had a Pakistani coworker, he was inbred, and like literally he was one of 9 siblings, and he was the only one who wasn't a retard. Right. So, and he was working to support all 9 of his, retarded siblings and his parents, who were, uncle, niece. So that's the thing. Like yeah. So that's the thing about Islam. Islam keeps the chains on the population that Islam rules. It keeps via inbreeding. Because it is a low IQ religion, the way
I saw a controversial study, Jose, that just came out in regards to instances of inbreeding around the world, and the Islamic sections of Africa and the Middle East were the highest in the world.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And it's absolutely horrific, and that's why their IQs are so low. I mean, as much as people talk about IQ differences across races. So Iran used to have a higher IQ, like as high of an IQ as Europe, and then Islam happened, and well, there was a ton of decay. Inbreeding will destroy intelligence in a population.
Right.
That's just the reality. And so the way that Thomism is a temptation for the high IQ, the demons, they're always devising falsehoods that they want to target every nation, every population by whatever strategy. They'll target the intelligent with ultra intelligent with one lie. They'll target the really dumb with another lie. And Islam is fascinating in that it is a system which perpetuates inbreeding, which keeps the population dumb, which keeps them vulnerable to, frankly, a low IQ religion.
Right. Yep.
Just looking at the Pakistani population in the UK and the disproportionate costs to the NHS because of all of their consanguineous marriages. But on the prior subject, are any of y'all familiar with Our Lady of Zaytun, the Marian apparition at the Coptic Church in Egypt? That it was first seen by two Muslims. One of them was like a parking garage attendant that thought it was a woman trying to commit suicide. And on the subject of like Muslims venerating our saints in the Theotokos, it just blows my mind that happened in Egypt. It was seen by tens of thousands of people. The government investigated it. It was first seen by Muslims, but the lasting effects it had on Islam generally were like a shrug of the shoulders.
I mean, the way Islam infiltrated in Egypt was completely out of nowhere. It was because Islam is such a conquering religion. It's such an idea of conquering that it was so easy for them to take over what was mainly a Christian country, which is.
Did
Which is
Owen
crazy.
Benjamin become Muslim? Justin Merck said that's why Blowin' Benjamin switched to Islam. Easier to fool them.
Oh boy.
If he did, that's hilarious. I wasn't aware.
Oh
of that.
my gosh.
you for
I
letting me
haven't paid
know, Justin
attention or heard
Merck.
that guy's name in a minute, but
I wouldn't be surprised though. That makes total sense.
People are already talking with Muslims and already believing in 90% of that. Like,
Yeah, I believe it. And then we had a super chat come in by Timothy M. Throws in $20. Thank you so much, Timothy. He said, I would agree on what DPH said about leaving/rejecting Protestantism. I would have all these negative things happen, but I'm going to stay the course and keep going to the patristic church I'm going to. Well, absolutely, Timothy. And that's part of the spiritual struggle is it is real. And there is clearly a force that wants to limit young men coming to the Orthodox Church. And the more they're aware of what to expect, that, maybe you'll have a euphoric experience, but for the vast majority, strange occurrences happen that seem to pile up out of nowhere. And then once you break through those, you can handle it a lot better. But it's like the devil gives a wave of negative circumstances, and it's like a test whether you can plow through that or not and keep the faith. So keep on going, Timothy. And LTWT baby throws in another $50. Thank you so much, brother, for your generous support. He said, I recommend reading the book Islam, the Orthodox View by the higher monk Daniel. Oh, okay, I don't have that. Let me pull that up. By the higher monk Daniel Sisiev. You can find the audiobook on YouTube as well. Can finish it over a weekend. Well, I'm going to pull that up. Thank you so much for the recommendation of that. Islam. Let me just the Orthodox View. All right, got it. All right, well, gentlemen, I think that's going to do it for tonight. Appreciate you guys coming on. Any final comments? If you could make them briefly, we'll hop off here. Again, thank you so much, LTW, for the book recommendation and your generous support today. Really appreciate it. God bless you and your family.
I can just say that, like to conclude, for me, Islam is not compatible with with the West, with Christianity, and we should try as much as we can to move away from it.
Yep, agreed.
Islam is politic.
Agreed with that one too. Yep. Yep, agreed.
This relates to something George said earlier about how Islam would awaken stuff in the West. Islam is permitted judgment, kind of like the Babylonians. It was permitted judgment for the heresies of Monophysitism, as well as Nestorianism in the East, as well as Arianism in Spain, which was quite dominant in Spain until the Muslims essentially destroyed Arianism in Spain, incidentally, with their conquest. So it's, and even if you look at the history of Russia, the fact is the reason why Russia has these Islamic minorities underneath them, well, they were incorporated into the Russian Empire when Russia was strong in its faith. So it's when any given people group, be it a civilizational state like Russia, or in a nation state, like little Serbia, when the people are strong in their faith, Islam is not, it's not a problem. But when the faith is weak, then it comes in and it'll hammer and do what it does. And that's the thing about Serbia. Serbia being a nation of martyrs, it bore the Islamic yoke for more than 400 years, nearly 500, if I remember right. And it's the fact is, even something evil as that, even something that the demons, demon-possessed Muhammad came up with, God uses to create saints and create martyrs. And it's so it's that's the phrase of, like, I'm not worried about Russia with the Islamic population in there. I mean, I just read like a 1,000-page book on Russian history, just 2 weeks ago. So it is a concern in the West, because the West is spiritually weak.
Right. Absolutely. All
Well,
right,
thanks
gentlemen.
for having me. Sorry for
Of course,
being so
Andrew.
late, and sorry I've been slacking, but I really appreciate your time and the platform, and glory to God for everything.
Glory to God for everything. That's for sure. Guys, thank you so much. Everybody watching, smash that like. Thank you all so much for the support. Our next stream is going to be a sponsored stream comparing Stoicism and Eastern Orthodoxy. Should be an interesting stream. We'll be getting into a lot of philosophy, history, and stuff like that. So I will see you all potentially Friday. If not Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, we'll be doing that stream. So I will catch you all then. Again, a comparing and contrasting of Stoicism with Eastern Orthodoxy. Thank you guys for coming on the panel, and thank all you for the support. I truly do appreciate and love you guys. As always, until next time, God bless.
Defeat for Russia. Some reports say 20 Russians killed, 10 Malian soldiers killed. Do you think Russia is asking Haftar to do this because it fears it's in trouble and it needs this resupply route rather urgently?
Out as much as they can from the Ukrainians, and then eventually begin to push them back. But as you mentioned in your opening, there are a lot of risks to the Russians as well. A lot of Russian troops could get stuck on the south side of the same river as the Ukrainians are knocking out the bridges, and they could be enveloped in a cauldron there.
Right. And as you are telling us about how this is unfolding for the Ukrainian side, obviously the West can't afford for Ukraine to lose this war. So many of the countries are agreeing to give some of the weapons. But why do you think the US is still not allowing Kyiv to use its long-range Storm Shadow missiles on Russian territory, despite, of course, multiple pleas from Ukraine. That would be a dangerous escalation, I assume.
Yeah, it is a very dangerous escalation because the reason why it's a controversial topic is because the ambiguity over whether or not it's a defensive or offensive war by NATO. It's very popular in the West to say that Ukraine was attacked and NATO has every right to assist Ukraine with the right to defend itself. But it's important to keep in mind that it has to a large extent been a proxy war.
What the fuck is this? Bullshit. Bullshit. There's a mugger rally happening today. We could watch wrestling. Trying to buy a PS2 in the first day of release. Yo.
Land forces as an emissary across the Sahel. He was most recently in Burkina Faso meeting with their new military hunter as well. Now, we've seen that play out before. It's no coincidence that what was revealed only in the end of July and what you spoke about earlier on in the show in terms of what was happening with the Russian mercenaries and the 20 or so that were killed. This is most certainly, in my view, securing a land route for their potential retreat out of Mali, but that would also bring up the question of Algeria and its own position there with Mali and with Russia, not only with Haftar, but certainly looking north is what Haftar has done, and there is precedent for that as well. In January and February of 2019, 2 months ahead of his move on Tripoli, Khalifa Haftar moved his forces into Sabha and Ubari, other southern cities that are near the border region with Algeria and Tunisia themselves. So there is historical precedence with this. There was also other coincidences politically playing out in Libya. There was a vote at the High State Council, one of the rival parliaments that sits in the west of Libya. That vote took place only in the last 10 days. That vote was disputed, and there was a potential pretext for a military push and a political change on Tripoli. And I think that's where Haftar is really kind of adept at using this. There are no coincidences. Haftar likes to kill multiple birds with one stone.
Okay, Abdul Qadir, I'd like to bring you in on, we've mentioned Algeria several times. How worried is Algeria? It has about 1,000-kilometre border with Libya. It is one of the strongest militaries in the North African region after Egypt. How worried would they be about events?
Very much worried. Very much worried, very much concerned with what is happening. Let's not forget that Algeria is surrounded by countries with deep instability. We talk about Libya, but also we need to mention, or as we already mentioned, Niger and Mali. So yeah, having troops on its border is something that is of a great concern for Algeria. It's, as I said, it's surrounded by other countries. On the west, it's surrounded by organized crime such as drug trafficking. With Mali and Niger, there is organized crime with drug trafficking, with illegal migration. So all this makes the Algeria very worried about what's happening. It has been focused for years now on its southern border with Mali, and to a lesser extent to Niger. But now with Haftar's troops on the border with Algeria, it makes it even more complex and complicated from a security perspective. So yeah.
Okay, let me bring in Lassen now. Everyone here in this discussion has outlined things that sound very worrying for Libya and for the region. Yet, if you were to watch most television news channels, no one is talking about this. What should be the message for the international community, particularly the EU and the US? Should the warning lights now be flashing?
I think the political process needs to go on, and because Haftar's actions have far-reaching implications for regional security, and the presence of foreign powers has turned the conflicts into proxy battlefield. But I think the international community, like the European Union, I think the UN, United States, but I think also with other players like Turkey and the Arab countries, need to push towards like the political process. The political process is something that needs to happen, and I think we need to bring. But also, I think there has been word that Haftar also is concerned about the fact that he's not getting his share of oil. There has been talk that maybe that can happen, and also there are attempts from the government in Western Libya that they are going to have like talks in order to bring in everyone and then respond to different kinds of needs. I think that's very good news in the sense that the political process is still possible and dialogue is still possible. But I think what needs to happen is for the implementation of the political roadmap, because that's the most important thing. I mean, to organize the elections and have a share of power between the different kinds of players.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thanks to all our guests, Lassen Haddad, Anas El-Ghamati and Abdul Qadir Abdul Rahman. You can see this program again anytime or watch any of our other shows. All of them are available on demand at aljazeera.com. If you have views on the situation in Libya and the wider region, post them on our Facebook page. That's facebook.com/AJ Inside Story. Or on X, the former Twitter, you'll find us at AJ Inside Story. From all of us here in Al Jazeera headquarters in Doha, please stay safe. I'm James Bays, and I'll see you back here very soon. Bye-bye for now.
Unique perspectives.
The transfer and the displacement of the indigenous population has been discussed as part of the Zionist project going back for well over 100 years.
Unheard voices.
Over 9,000 people have been put into jail by the Bangladesh government.
Connect with our community and tap into conversations you won't find elsewhere.
Young people are not looking for a handout, but they are not backed up by a system that supports them.
The Stream on Al Jazeera.
An astonishing film, documenting 2 decades in one of the most embattled corners of the globe. A child of Afghanistan, 20 years of war, follows Mia from boyhood to manhood. A life that has known no peace, shaped by hardship, resilience, and adventure. A unique film that captures the conflict in a way it has never been seen before. Witness on Al Jazeera.
This world has borne witness to countless wars. What is happening now is unlike anything before. Do not question why it happened like this now. Lend an ear to this call. IHH, Humanitarian Relief Foundation.
The latest news as it breaks.
Ismail, like thousands of Palestinians, he tore down his home for fear of the alternative.
With detailed coverage.
It's been months now, and the family is yet to hear from Israeli authorities whether Wissam is alive or dead.
From the heart of the story.
Muhammad's wife, a doctor, and his 3-day-old twins were killed in an Israeli airstrike on a house in Khan Yunis.
Hello, I'm Sarah Khairat in Doha. The top stories here on Al Jazeera. Moscow is scrambling to fight its first foreign incursion since the Second World War. Ukrainian forces have advanced further in the western Kursk region, forcing tens of thousands of civilians to flee their homes. Al Jazeera's Dorsa Jabari reports from the city of Kursk, where people are seeking shelter.
This circus building lies in the heart of the Russian city of Kursk. Once a source of laughter and entertainment, now a source of comfort for the weary and dispossessed. Every day, nearly 1,000 Russians who've been forced from their homes come here to get basic necessities. Lubov is one of the nearly 120,000 people who have been displaced.
They made a sudden attack. They attacked Suja at 3 a.m. They started shooting people. How is this possible? All the world say that it's Russia to blame. What is Russia guilty of? Does Russia not have a right to live, and they do? Why is this like this?
We arrived from Glushkovo. We've been staying here for a week with my son.
We left behind our house and all our life. I would not like anyone to live through what we have lived through. I want peace as soon as possible and for this horror to end.
Since Ukrainian forces launched their incursion into Russia on August the 6th, officials in Kiev claim they have captured over 90 settlements in the Kursk region, a number disputed by the Kremlin. Officials in Ukraine say the aim is to set up a buffer zone to protect the country and get more leverage in any future negotiations, something Russia says is out of the question now.
The government has allocated $30 million to the Kursk region, but local people are also pitching in. These clothes have all been donated by people hoping they can help their neighbors in need.
Medical staff say dozens of civilians have been killed as Ukrainian forces push further into Russian territory. The front lines of the fighting are about 90 kilometers from here, but the effects are already being felt, and that's likely to continue for generations to come. Dorsa Jabari, Al Jazeera, Kursk, Russia.
In northern Gaza, at least 11 Palestinians have been killed in an overnight Israeli strike. A house was targeted in the city of Beit Lahia. People are still believed to be under the rubble, and rescue crews are working through the night trying to find them. More than 40,200 Palestinians have been killed since the war began in October. Evacuation orders have also been issued for areas in Khan Yunis. Palestinians have been told to leave by Israeli forces. Many there face the same problem with nowhere to go and no guarantee that anywhere is safe.
Here. Death is more merciful in this country. We were displaced 20 times. I swear to God, our houses and tents were struck. They do not want us to live. They don't even want us to enjoy our life. The people are dying and there are wounded. The people do not know where to go. Even Al-Mawasi is not safe. We do not know where to go, to the sea or where. Death is more merciful.
Where are the human rights? Where are the people? Where is the world that is watching us? Are we just Arabs by name? Where are the Arabs? All the United States and the world are against us because we are Arabs. We want to die.
US President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris have held a call with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. The call comes at a critical time as the US is trying to push through a ceasefire deal. Biden stressed the urgency of bringing the agreement to a close. They discussed upcoming talks that are scheduled to take place in Cairo, meant to remove any remaining obstacles. Tim Walz will officially accept his party's vice presidential nomination during day 3 of the Democratic National Convention. The current Minnesota governor arrived at the venue early to prepare for his speech later on Wednesday night.
Hello. How are we doing? Welcome back. Today,
What the hell is this?
we are.
Ugh. Disgusting. Alright, I'm just trying to find that debate between Sneeko and Andrew. Wow. I am horrible at spelling.
Not yet start. Zero complaints, literally. So, alhamdulillah, I think you enjoyed it as well. That was my experience, at least.
Yeah, it was great. All right, for time's sake, let's get right into the discussion / debate.
Yeah, so I want to make sure though that we're clear before the debate starts. That
Oh wait, no, I don't want to watch this guy's channel. Is it this one?
And you're collapsing.
Every human being knows the attribute is not.
Everyone knows this.
No. Oh my gosh. Come on. I want to watch the debate, but I don't want to watch it on the Muslim guy's channel. Come on, man. Probably on Rumble. Andrew. My spelling is so bad. It's not that I can't spell, it's that my typing is bad. Alright, come on. Where is it? Give it to me. Give it to me. Let's check out what kind of debates are going on right now. And the fucking filters are horrible. DNC convention. Oh, that Indian chick is talking right now.
And when she finally,
oh my gosh, this is so absurd.
she looked at me and said, really
This is
good,
the,
and then never
version
took
of
another
Hulk
bite
Hogan.
again. Yes, yes. But it is that warmth, that generosity of spirit that I know she will bring to the White House as our next president.
Oh,
Kamala
man.
Harris cares deeply about other people.
Oh,
She will
yeah?
fight to protect our freedoms because
Oh,
those
will
are the
she?
values that her mother passed down to her.
Oh, are they?
In order to protect those freedoms, Democrats also need
You
to win
sound
the
so
House.
convinced.
So we have a lot
You
to do,
sound
and please welcome
convinced.
to the stage your next Speaker of the House, Hakeem Jeffries.
Oh my gosh. Are they seriously playing that? Are they playing that song right now? Are they playing that song right now? They really are.
Good evening, Democrats.
They really are whipping that one out.
It's a high honor and a distinct privilege as a Brooklynite, New Yorker, and as an American to stand before you today and unequivocally express my support for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz to be the next president and vice president of the United States of America. Over the last few years, House Democrats have been hard at work, and we could not have asked for a better leader to partner with than President Joseph Robinette Biden, who will go down as one of the most
Climb is Angeletti, and Chris, you said it before the fight that when I asked him about, how do you feel about being this prospect? No, I'm a contender right now. I'm looking for that big fight.
I like that mindset. I love that kind of mindset. But listen, if you're going to be on our air, you're going to be in tough, and you got to show up. Saying it and doing it are two different things.
Said he fought all over the world as an amateur. I fought in Europe, I fought in Russia, I fought everywhere. All that experience, that's what gives me all my confidence as a professional. Also getting the sound fundamentals. That standout amateur career.
Slipped there from Valdez as he was letting loose some good body work. Valdez is tough, not really hard to find. You know, he's a shorter man, comes in with that high guard. but he's got good pop in those fists. He's got 11 KOs and 16 wins. Doesn't mind punching with you either, which makes him a very dangerous puncher.
Yeah, and understands his positioning very, very well, too. You know, Angeletti's putting together some flashy shots, some good speed shots, but Valdez not really breaking position. He's looking to punch back. See, again, right there, gets low, stays, holds that position. High guard, so he can get right back and stress Angeletti.
Valdez also boxed for the national team in the Dominican Republic, fought internationally as well.
Also from the tape that I watched, fights with a lot of confidence. Again, guys who have power generally have confidence to back that up.
Valdez likes those phone booth fights, likes to get inside, making a punching battle at short range.
Tough to do with a tall, long, athletic guy like Angeletti. You saw the way he just slid back and made Valdez miss. There it is again. And holds his ground well with a nice push-off. You see, you show the physical strength, too, with the positioning.
Mírame. No te puedes descontrolar y entrar de la manera que me estás entrando, ¿ok? Úsame el jab para entrar. Si tiraste uno, tirame el dos, termina con la recta, pero tienes que atacarme abajo. Si giras para el lado izquierdo, como estamos diciendo, vamos a conectar a la izquierda. El gancho izquierdo tuyo está conectando lindo. Ese está cuidando el gancho izquierdo. O sea, hay que trabajar con la derecha.
Hey.
Keep your eyes open.
Cecil's using a stealth boy.
that? What the fuck? The real man.
All right.
You feel that? It's called fear. Open fire!
Something out there.
Fun? Huh? I couldn't stay away, huh?
That's the last of them. Lock's really strong.
Damn it. Shit. Should have went outside and saved after I killed those guys. Fuck. I knew those fried mines were there. It's the second time I've done that. What a dum-dum. What a dummy.
What?
Nice. That's sick. See the bullet go through the air. Nice.
Bothering anybody now.
Scrap those guys. Let's see, I'm just gonna deal with this dude.
What? You're getting parried.
Nice.
There's something out there.
Nice. Alright. So actually, should we try and pick locks? That's probably what we should do. What do we need to do that? Need more perception. Right. Okay. And now we'll sleep. Oh shit! Oh, I knew that was gonna happen. Damn it. Hey.
Come on.
Said Valentine 3rd. Let's see. Where's that damn? Where are they? Where are the frags? Here. I'll go over there.
Sure thing.
Grab anything useful.
Done and done.
Oh, nice. That's cool. I can have them take stuff.
Take anything good.
Good plan.
Here's that chick. Do we have anything? No grenades, nothing.
You can still run. All right.
Nice.
Anything useful?
Contract, Shelly Tiller. Strengthened polymer combat armor. Take that. Combat armor. Alright. Let's take all the drugs around. Oh, cryo mines. Alright, I can make a lot of drugs. Let's see, I can make Psycho Buff.
We should head over to the Nakano residence when we can. Find out what their case is about.
Hey.
Now,
I'll see what I can do.
Going up. Third floor.
Running from something? Welcome home. Hey.
Hey.
There's something you need?
Over here.
Can do.
Don't worry. I only test the...
Heads up. Wait there.
I'm all
Move here.
ears. Whatever you need. Hey, Cleo.
Every weapon you see here could be the difference between...
Let's see what you have.
Each weapon tested on some.
Geraldo Valdez, his corner telling him, you gotta tighten up or you're gonna lose this fight.
96 damage on this 44. 96 damage. It's better than my 50 cal and Kellogg's pistol. It's only 300 caps. I have to get that. I mean, it's so good. Damn. Alright. Well, guess I'm selling Kellogg's pistol. It'll offset the cost a little bit at least. Buy all the 44 rounds he's got. Alright. Alright. Let's see what this feels like. Comfort grip 44. Ooh,
The
nice little
detective's
scope on it.
life isn't an easy one, but it rarely lacks for excitement.
Yeah, let's listen to the radio.
Galaxy News! Another headliner.
Peace, brother.
Hancock seeks a special meeting with our hero, the Silver Shroud. Whatever it's about, be careful, Shroud. We're all with you. Galaxy
Meet with Hancock.
News Radio.
When evil walks the streets of Boston, one man lurks in the shadows, shielding the innocent, judging the guilty. That guardian is the Silver Shroud. Today's episode in the parlor of mystery.
Sleep.
You step through the gate, you got balls.
Looks like we got another freak just won't fit anywhere else.
Ecstasy. This can only be the den of mysteries.
Be still, sweet Your room is
Shroud.
Upstairs, top floor.
I removed
the
that
last one on the
scumbag
right down
slug,
the long hallway.
but you're sick with fever and still suffering.
Mistress of Mysteries, no. I'm all right. But the mayor, Fat Fady, we stumbled upon a most sinister plot, old friend.
Ha! No, dear heart. The Shroud stumbled. The mistress maneuvered. I knew of the mayor's misdeeds for many days. I followed him to that fateful meeting with Fat Fahey. I was about to... Attention! Silver Shroud and Mistress of Mystery! This is Chief Corcoran of the Boston Police Department. We know you're in there. You are both wanted in connection with the murder of Mayor Murphy. Come out with your hands up!
Huh? Don't have no handouts.
It would seem that our leaving the scene of the Scale slaughter was terribly timed.
Yeah?
Better keep your iron strapped on. Friendly advice. I don't know nothing about nothing. Hey, I don't mean to bitch, but aren't you supposed to be heading to Pickman Gallery for me? Something else you need?
Tell me more about this town of yours. Good neighbor.
It's all about the people, understand? Everyone here lives their own life, their now. What?
Nothing right now.
Cool, cool.
You ever tried chess? Sometimes you need to sacrifice a piece to keep the game going. Keep that in mind.
Mayor Hancock?
Guess what someone tells me? Some costume freak is operating in Good Neighbor. And the kicker is, it ain't me. How should I feel about this?
This neighborhood is ill. I am the cure.
You're priceless.
Hell yeah.
Like the Silver Shroud himself walked out of a comic book in the Mike Den. Just priceless. You've been busy scaring people, bashing in a few faces. I respect that, so far. But I gotta ask, one freak to another, why the getup?
Many have sought to pierce the shroud, to no avail.
You just don't stop. Stay you, pal. The lowlifes you took out all belong to the same asshole. And that asshole's planning some old-fashioned revenge on you. You dig? Fortunate for you, I want Sinjin to take a dirt nap. He's taken 2-bit raider outfits and made them scary. Small fish now, but if left alone...
He will be judged for his crimes.
Trust me, he needs a lot of judging. Got a lead on 2 of his own, Smiling Kate and Northy. Smiley is gathering a posse to take you out. And Northy is just running scared. Hired himself some goons and is holding up in Prospect. Just keep piling those body bags up until you find the location of the big guy himself.
Sinjin thinks he's above judgment, but no one is safe from the Silver Shroud.
Don't get killed. You deal with Sinjin, and I'm inclined to show you some gratitude. You feel me? What? Got a staring problem? Wanna hear something spooky? There's this old insane asylum up north, but it ain't abandoned. Not like it should be.
You'll get into trouble. It's your own damn fault. Watch yourself.
Straight right hands too, because now what happens, Valdez he can't just dip low anytime he wants to, because he's got to be leery of the uppercut that Angeletti could throw. So now he stays up a little higher and it opens up the straight right hand for Angeletti. There it is right there. See, he didn't get down underneath that one.
And Angeletti feinted Valdez out of his shoes there. And that's one thing. When you start making movements that you don't need because your opponent is feinting you, it's that much more tiring.
And Angeletti, you feel that he's floating, he's having fun, he's enjoying being in there. He wasn't enjoying the early round, no, he was very uncomfortable early on.
But it's definitely found his flow, found his range. This is the guy that we were looking for all night long.
You talk about that gel, Paul, in these two styles. Really starting to gel for Angeletti, right?
Absolutely. Gel for one of them.
Yeah, gel for one of them.
Valdez will like to ungel it a little more.
Yeah, Valdez liked it when it was not gelling. Oh, love that shot. Love that uppercut to the left of the liver.
Yeah, what it does, it basically, you throw an uppercut down the middle, it closes the arms. So
Someone's coming.
Valdez walked back to the corner.
Attention! Silver Shroud and Mistress of Mystery. This is Chief Corcoran of the Boston Police Department. We know you're in there. You are both wanted in connection with the murder of Mayor Murphy. Come out with your hands up.
Incurring the wrath of Boston's finest is an...
Oh, you. Staying with us today? Renter assumes no expectation of privacy or safety for you or your belongings.
Excellent. Not enough folks value keeping the old CPU sharp anymore.
Hancock. He runs things here in Good Neighbor. Good man for the job.
Mayor Hancock?
Guess what someone tells me? Some costume freak is operating in Good Neighbor.
This neighborhood is ill.
You're You've been...
Many have sought to...
The Lola, fortunate.
He will be judged for his...
Trust, got us. Just...
Sinjin thinks...
Don't get...
Need to sell some junk? Head to Daisy's Discounts.
Hey, I don't mean to bitch, but aren't you supposed to be...
You ever tried chess? Sometimes you need to sacrifice a piece to keep the game going. Keep that in mind.
Wake up, Commonwealth. Synths are not your enemy. They are victims in this war as well. True, they were created by the Institute, but they were created as slaves. Thinking, feeling, and dreaming beings, utterly oppressed by their tyrannical masters. So join with us in fighting the real enemy, the Institute.
I think
Join the
Whitechapel
railroad.
Charlie's got some work.
When you're ready for that next step, don't worry. We'll find you.
At a very high level, whether it's with a new fighter, an experienced fighter, a professional, a dangerous one, a novice, we always keep it high so that on the day of the fight,
Better keep your iron strapped on. Friendly advice.
we are at the peak of the mountain of fights against rivals, as they say. So we know that things are going to get more complicated, and we are ready to face those challenges, right? Because in the end, that's what we were aiming for. To get to fight with world-class boxers, for the world to see us, to recognize us, for legendary people, boxers, to see us face great opponents, great boxers. And well, we are making progress little by little. As for me, the commitment is getting more serious. That's what I want, what we are aiming for, what Guatemala wants. And little by little, we are getting closer to the world title. Well, I'm one of those fighters who talk a lot, but let me tell you to prepare well, because I am preparing absolutely well. I'm striving to win this fight, and if I manage to win by knockout, even better for me, for my team, for Guatemala. And be careful, because I hope you don't get injured like it has happened before with other boxers. Let's have a very good fight, and I'm sure that's how it's going to be.
Martinez knows what it takes to be successful. Here, ProBox TV, Lester Martinez versus Joe Sean James, 18-0, 15 knockouts. These two fighters, a combined 27 wins with no losses. That's going to be an incredible fight. Check it out Wednesday, September 11th. ProBox TV Event Center right here. We have our decision in our co-main event. Jim, take it.
And ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up. Show these fighters some love. After 10 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards. Ladies and gentlemen, Judge Max Parker Jr. scores this bout 97-93. Judges Jed O'Connor and Rodolfo Aguilar score this bout 98-92 in favor of your winner by unanimous decision. And still undefeated, Michael.
I was out by the Cambridge ruins yesterday. Heard this.
Great job for Michael Angeletti, a winner by unanimous decision, but certainly early on in the fight, he earned this one, gentlemen.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I thought the scores were good. I think they're representative of how this fight went. You know, 97-93 on one, Judge 98-92 on the other, meaning that Valdez won 2 to 3, which makes sense in my book.
Hey.
Need a place to stay? Try Hotel Rexford.
Hey, not too close, Mr. Tough Guy.
Excellent combinations. Fantastic stuff. Stays undefeated, 12 wins, 7 knockouts. Incredible ability, and he'll be back soon. ProBox TV said, I'm ready for the big fights. We'll see him again. See if he gets them. Jojo Diaz, you know the name. You know the ability. Do you know the struggle? That is the question. Our own boss, Gary Jonas, talks about him.
So yeah, JoJo's another one of those opportunities where, you know, understandably his career has gone a little sideways, and he's available to us. But when we started talking to JoJo, one of the reasons I was willing to take a shot on him is I was so impressed that he had voluntarily, and he's training really hard. Whoa.
Looking for a room?
Fine.
Top floor. Your room is upstairs, top floor, the last one on the right down the long hallway.
I just clean up around here.
You're lucky the mayor likes outsiders.
I'm almost dead because there's no water anywhere. Nobody anywhere has any water.
Don't be shy now.
Kitty. Pumpernickel.
Valentine.
Morning. Well, ain't that a blast from the past?
Huh?
Daisy.
Don't have no
Got some
handout.
good deals. You won't believe what's in
Let's see what you have.
all the supplies money or violence can buy.
What, you dry? Head over to the third rail.
What's up?
we'll see how this position plays out. You know, Brad doing a good job getting his back against the cage, and Kevin Kroom is working very hard to stay on top right now. He wants to potentially rain some ground and pound, get some work going.
Notice as Kevin secures that right over the left leg of Frank Lucas, he keeps his head all the way across the body. Keep good cross body pressure and stop Brad from being able to build up all the moves in space. Yeah, showed a great fight IQ right here. Bottom side wrist. Brad Wilson, so now he can't pull back that elbow.
Someone's coming. I don't think we're alone.